What more can you tell us on the health and the timeline for Durant?
Yeah, so Kevin Durant is feeling good. His knee is feeling strong. But the key for his return is that he wants to get some live 5-on-5 contact, something he hasn't had since injuring his knee 6 weeks ago. The Suns played the last game before the All-Star break, so they get the advantage of coming back at the last time with all the teams coming back from the break. So he is going to go through the practice today, and they're going to see how he responds to it tomorrow, which means that even though the Suns haven't updated their injury report, he is unlikely to make his Suns debut against the Thunder on Friday. Sunday, the team plays in Milwaukee. That hasn't been ruled out, but it's probably likely that Durant gets a couple of full-scale workouts and that next week's game on Wednesday in Charlotte is the actual date where we see Durant for the first time. But one thing I will tell you, Matt, Durant has had this exact injury in season twice in his career. He is an expert at coming back from this injury, and so he knows exactly what he needs to get ready.
So great, because you kind of led me to my follow-up. It sounds like Durant is driving this.
Well, you know, these are brand new teammates, a brand new medical staff here. But one thing about Durant's career, he's had a number of, challenging injuries, but every single time, whether it's been this MCL type injury or his Achilles injury, he has come back and played perfectly. His track record is he knows how to get ready to play, and that is absolutely going to be leading this process with the Suns.
And lastly, Wendy, because it's end of February, so we got March, playoffs start in April, so really you have 1 month left till the postseason begins. The Suns mortgaged their future for this move right here, and basically you've got a month to get the chemistry right before the playoffs. Internally, do you get the sense that there's any concern that they might not have enough time to get this thing going when they need it to most?
No, I think they really like their chances. One thing that's in Durant's favor, the offense that the Suns run has been specifically designed to take advantage of Chris Paul operating at the elbows, to take advantage of Devin Booker, who's both a great mid-range scorer and a long-range scorer. They're not going to have to adjust their offense really at all. Durant, their core plays are plays Durant has run for a decade in Oklahoma City, in Golden State, in Brooklyn. So I actually think that the transition into their team is going to be much more seamless because of the structure they already have in place.
Again, practicing today. They don't play tomorrow. Brian Windhorst is going to be out there through all of the Kevin Durant situation in Phoenix. Brian, good stuff. Thank you. If you look at the Suns' schedule, the next 5 games, they give it the game at home against the Thunder on Friday. That one on ESPN, as you heard Wendy say, he's not likely to play in that one. Then they kick off a 4-game road trip. They'll face the Bucks and the Mavericks. According to ESPN Analytics, they are favored in only 2 of their next 5 games.
And Kendra, what can you tell us about the latest with the Warriors and Steph Curry?
Yeah, Kelsey, well, the Warriors say that Steph is making good progress, and he actually started some individual on-court workouts this week, which is the first time he's been able to do that since suffering that lower left leg injury back on February 4th. They're going to reevaluate him in 1 week, so that means he's going to miss tonight, as you said, and then also their 3-game homestand against the Rockets, the Timberwolves, and the Trailblazers as well. And the Warriors are really trying to wait until Steph is as healthy as possible before bringing him back on the court, because as Steph explained to us a couple weeks ago, unlike his shoulder injury from earlier in the season, they just had to wait until he wasn't at risk of further damaging that shoulder or injuring it again. But because he's dealing with injured ligaments right now, they have to be really, really careful, because if they rush him back, bring him back before he's ready, it could damage them much further. And as you mentioned, the West standings are so congested right now, and the Warriors are really trying to make a push through their last 24 games, hopefully to get out of the play-in and into the playoffs.
Pivotal stretch, Dave McMenamin, for the Lakers, as you know, which includes a 7-game stretch against Western Conference opponents. It's right here for them. We talked about how easy the schedule is. What's the team saying about performing right now in this stretch run?
Well, Matt Darvingham, as he gathered his team for their first practice after the All-Star break on Wednesday, made it clear this team doesn't want to just get into the playoffs through the play-in. They want to avoid the play-in tournament, get the 6th seed or higher, and we're going to see pretty early on whether that's going to be feasible or not based on these 7 games coming up. At home against Golden State Warriors, then you go on the road, got the number 6 Dallas Mavericks, you got the number 2 Memphis Grizzlies, you got the number 10 Oklahoma City Thunder, come back home, 3 more West opponents above you in the standings. So all these games kind of count as double. Not only you get a win, but you add a loss to one of the teams that you're chasing. LeBron James was given the day off on Wednesday. He's the lone representative for the Lakers in Salt Lake City over All-Star, but he's going to be with the team at shoot-around today. He's probable with that left foot and ankle. It's go time for this team. And Anthony Davis told me yesterday when I asked him about it, he said every game is a must-win. We got to treat them all like it's Game 7.
And Dave, look, the Lakers can say all they want. It's all in front of them, schedule-wise, Western Conference-wise. If they don't get it done, you can only point to them as the reason why it's going to be fun to watch. Dave McMenamin, thank you. Kelsey?
Let's go big picture now, and NBA analyst Vince Carter with us on SportsCenter. Vince, second half of the season, it starts tonight, so I want to go through your top 3 storylines for the back half of the season, starting with number 3. What are you most excited to see?
Well, Kelsey, number 3, I'm looking at the Clippers and Russ, adding Russ. And I'm interested to see a rejuvenated Russ, a Russ that we've heard him say, a team that wants me and that is welcoming me with open arms. And good things can happen. He can play fast. They will play faster. He's going to have to make shots, obviously, and adapt. But they were looking for a point guard. They wanted Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook felt like that was the right place for him. I'm interested to see that marriage work.
You mentioned him being wanted. You could just see it on his face in the press conference yesterday. He just looked so happy to be there. Talked about the ultimate goal of winning a championship. We'll see how that all plays out. What's your number 2, Vince?
My number 2. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference, the Celtics. Who will compete against the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals? That's right, Kelsey. I'm saying the Eastern Conference. I'm saying the Celtics will be in the Eastern Conference Finals, but who? Obviously, we're looking at Giannis and his injury, and how will that affect the Milwaukee Bucks going forward? And can they get back into contention? Because they were playing lights-out basketball. They were the hottest team in basketball. And this injury means a lot. Is it just a couple of games, or is it the rest of the regular season going into the playoffs, trying to get back his rhythm and so on and so forth? Which now that can open the door for the 76ers if they're playing great basketball. They're playing pretty good basketball, but can they eclipse the Bucks into the second position? Will they play well enough to get into the Eastern Conference Finals? We just have to see, but I am very interested to watch that unfold.
76ers definitely in contention, just 3 games back. It'll be interesting, as you mentioned, to see what happens with Giannis and the Bucks. 12-game win streak, but what do they do without him? Vince, that leads us to your number 1 most exciting story coming out of the All-Star break, and that is what?
The obvious. Everybody likes the obvious sometimes. The Phoenix Suns, the big 3. Can they get it done? Kevin Durant wanting to move on and choosing to go to the Phoenix Suns. The Nets making it happen now, getting him healthy, getting him acclimated. We all know when you're talking about the after All-Star break, that is crunch time. That is money time. That is when your team is trying to hit their stride, getting prepared and situated in the best possible position for the playoffs. Well, the Phoenix Suns and Kevin Durant has to gel and hit their stride all in 22 games before it's playoff time and positioning time. So I am interested to see not only can they get themselves together, hit their stride, but can they win it all coming out of the West?
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.